How's it going, everybody? It's John Hester here at Hester Motorsports, doing a quick little video here showing these are Hester Edition, exclusive Hester Edition Elka Shock package, and basically just on how to install them. Very simple. So right here we're building and completely transforming this entire machine. It's a 2014 Teryx-4. These shocks and everything will fit any the 2012 to 2021 Teryx-4 and 2014 to 2021 Teryx 2-seater. It will not fit the first generation first generation Teryx's. So I'll just get into this real quick. So this one, we're installing arched arms. We got beadlock wheels, 30-inch motocloths, getting a nice setup on this. Really taking this thing, knocking it out of the park and into the moon, basically. So our Hester Edition shock package is a longer shock, for one, so that's one thing. The other thing is it has a lot more shock stroke. The valving, we have a 2-stage high-speed and low-speed valving stack, the only one to have this. It is at slow speed as the shock travels slow. It is very plush, second to none. It is literally like floating on a cloud. It's going to transform this Teryx into an entirely different machine, just mainly because of the shock package right here. The other thing is in the high speed, as the shock takes harder hits at a faster rate, it has a stiffer valving stack for that. So this is basically 2 shocks in one without, and this is a stage one, no clickers, just preload adjustment, and this is a performance trail shock. So this is a recreation trail shock that's, this is for basically, you're going to go out, you want a shock that's going to do it all, and you don't want to mess with it. You don't want to play with clickers. You just want to go out and have fun and enjoy the ride. But yet, as speed increases, this thing you can drive like a trophy truck. I am not kidding. This thing, I do a lot of suspension systems. We do a lot of long travels, and I am not joking. I will compare this setup right here to most long travels. You will not believe it. Now, of course, a long travel will win in outright wheel travel, but in ride quality, plushness, what it does, it is just staggering. And you can keep your stock width or add, like this one, we're adding spacers and an offset wheel. So this is an entirely different route. This is basically a mid travel right here. We're bumping the wheel travel up to almost 12 inches, well, 11 inches, sorry, 11, slightly over 11 and a half inches in the rear, almost 11 in the front on a Teryx with stock length arms. This is a huge upgrade. It is staggering how good they are. Anyways, so on the installation, simple, bolt on the front, bolt on, no trimming, no nothing required. Now the rear, and this is with any aftermarket shock, you do have to trim the shock. So this plate normally comes out more, so we trim this plate and we trim it up like that because the distance in between the shock is a lot different right here. So I have a stock shock here to show, so you can see how different the lengths of the top are. That is why you have to clear, you're just basically clearancing that cap to make sure, and that's on both sides of the shock here. So we trimmed it up, paint it, ready to go. Now this, we're just installing, so we don't have everything tight yet. Everything's loose. We just installed the arms, the UHMW bushings. We got a lot of stuff to install on this, but I just want to show you this. So that's the rear shock, which is way, try to get this as close as I can up to the top. Stay right there. It's a lot longer, as you can tell. Here's the biggest thing. Let me line up the shock stroke. Look how much shock stroke you have. You have a tremendous amount of wheel travel. We more than doubled the articulation over the stock shocks. It is staggering what this thing will do. It is absolutely amazing. Wish I did these shocks sooner. These things are, Just amazing. We have 5 stages in these depending on whatever the customer wants. See, like I said, these are stage 1s, which is set your preload. This is going to adjust your ride height, and then go ride. That's it. Bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Ready to rock and roll and just be blown away. Just unbelievable, unbelievable. Stage 2, same shock, identical, but down here we'll add a rebound control. So then you could independently, you could slow or speed up the shock, so after it takes a hit, how it rebounds back. Now, of course, these shocks are custom tailor-made to the individual. Every shock is built for the individual. These are not a one shock fits all. You know, we don't have 50,000 of these laying around and saying, here you go. This sucker, it is tailor-made to the individual. The spring rates, everything, the valving, your driving habits, all that is calculated into the build. So I mean, this is like getting fitted for a fine suit compared to going to Walmart and buying a suit off of the rack. It is a massive, massive improvement in quality. Fit and finish is #1. Elka, extraordinarily high quality company. 1 year warranty on these, where most everybody else is 90 days or less. So really, really nice setup. Very high quality. Lots of championships in Elka's name. A lot of Baja 1000, Mint 400, and they know how to build a race shock. This is a race shock that we have toned down to make it into a performance trail shock, and very affordable. Give us a call for current prices and everything like that. You know, prices do change, so I don't want to really say any prices what they are right now. So get with me on these and I can go over all that. Now, the other thing, stage 3s. Going to it from a stage, we explained, the stage 2 adds the rebound. Stage 3 removes the rebound off, adds a piggyback reservoir. Now keep in mind, all 5 stages we use the same shock body and the same 2-stage valving, so you get immense quality from stage 1 to stage 5. As you step up, you gain tricker and tricker components to the shock and more tunability. That's what each stage steps up to. Stage 3 adds a piggyback reservoir in here. It increases the oil and nitrogen capacity to increase the abuse that the shock could take for a longer duration. So if you're out there in the desert and you're hammering this thing down 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, if you've got the ECU flashed in a Teryx, the stage 3s might be your way to go. You could have a longer duration. You know, it keeps the shock working the way it is intended for a longer duration under heavier abuse. And the stage 3 will add a compression clicker to where you can make it stiffer or softer. Stage 4, a combination for the desert guys, is a stage 3 in the front, stage 4 in the rear. Is a really nice setup because of stage 4 you have the piggyback, compression clicker, and a rebound clicker. So we'll run a stage 4 in the rear because the rear is the most susceptible to bouncing, what we call huckabucking. You're hammering through whoops and the back end starts bam, bam, bam as it rebounds either too fast or too slow. So you can fine tune the tunability on that. Now keep in mind, these clickers and stuff is to fine tune. The valving and everything is set very, very well in the design. These will fine tune to your preference. You want to slow it down, you want to speed it up, you want to stiffen it, you want to soften it, whatever. Then what we call God mode, stage 5s. It has everything thrown at it. So it's a piggyback reservoir, rebound, and a high speed and low speed compression. So you get to independently adjust each of the 2 stacks completely separately. So you can fine tune and have it ultra plush on slow speed and crank down the high speed. And you could just drive this thing like a rock crawler, and this wheel just sit there and just whoa, up and down the rocks. Then you hammer this thing and you look like BJ Baldwin, and the sucker's just whap, 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 taking it like a champ. Just unbelievable. So as you step up in stages, you gain tricker components and more tunability, and of course the price is going to go up. So that's one thing to keep in mind. That's the beautiful thing about these shocks, is we designed them to be able to create a shock for every single individual's wants, needs, and desires. You want the baddest shocks you can put on them, bam, we have the baddest shocks you can put on them. Stage 4, stage 5s, whatever you want to do. If you want a shock that is an amazing upgrade, I'll put it this way: you can buy this set of shocks for less than these wheels and tires this gentleman's buying here. So these are beadlock wheels, 14-inch beadlock wheels and 30-inch motoclaw tires. They cost more than the suspension package. So, and that is the biggest upgrade you could ever do to a Teryx, is changing those shocks. Even if you had a box stock machine and you just change the shocks, you gain 2 inches of lift, and you gain about 3 inches of wheel travel and a ride that's out of this world. Your friends with Razors and Can-Ams will be jealous of how smooth your machine rides. It is absolutely staggering, and there's a lot of customers out there that'll attest to that. It is absolutely amazing. I wish I built these shocks 10 years ago. You know, man, it would be the staple of it. But, you know, they've been out for about 6 months. I have been selling them. I haven't been doing a lot of stuff, but I wanted to take the time. It's been so busy. I just wanted to stop what I was doing, get this video knocked out, and really explain and show. I will have another video once this one is done. We're going to articulate it and show how much flex this sucker has, and it's going to blow you away. You'll be able to basically drive up onto a 30-inch tire, and the other tires are staying on the ground. That's something a long travel can barely do. Keep that in mind. It is amazing on this. Absolutely staggering. But this setup here is really transforming by doing the arched arms. The arms will relocate the wheels forward 1.5 inches and the rear wheels back 1.5 inches. So we gain 3 inches of wheel travel. We have more stability lengthwise, and then we increase the width. As you can see, it's sticking out. We now have more stance. We have so much more clearance as far as usable clearance because of the arms. And then, of course, this is going to sit at 15 inches of ground clearance when it's done. Might set it at about 14 to 14.5 because this customer wants more smoothness, and I want to make sure we have plenty of down travel to soak up everything. He rides a lot up in Moab and all around Utah, Sand Hollow, so it's going to be a really wicked machine for him. He is really excited. He's had back surgery, and this machine has been literally killing him, and he is so stoked that we're going to be doing this package and everything on his machine, and he's just like, I cannot wait, because he's drooling over this setup. So we are transforming this into one of our Hester Edition setups on this 2014 for this customer. He came all the way down from Utah, and we're going to knock this sucker out in one day. So any questions on the shocks, give us a call. 575-445-3558. We're open Tuesday through Saturday. You could also message us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Hester's Motorsports, and we could help you on that. Check out more of our videos. Be sure to like and subscribe. Click the little notification bell up at the top, and get all that set up. Get that all good. All your axle angles are good. We're within the parameters, but we are maxing out the Teryx potential. There's nothing that can get more travel on this. We also have to create a little bed lift, because if we left the bed like this, the 30-inch tires will rub this bed. I mean, we got fender flares. We got a lot of stuff more to add on this. Add in a bumper in the back, all that stuff. But if you run 30s, heck, even some 29s under heavy compression, hard hits, or massive articulation can rub up here. So because we gain so much wheel travel, it is staggering. So like, here's the side that you can see we cut, right here. So this is how you set it up, and that's only in the upper rear shock tower. That's the only spot. No other cutting anywhere else. Once that's done, you can fit any aftermarket shock. But we are so pumped on these. Oh yeah, on the rear, you do have to have, which I'm trying to work with Elka to change some thicknesses, but you do have to run, you know, we put, since we are changing the wheels from the stock wheels, you could even use these, and on the bottom there, we use 3 of those on the bottom there. You can use some on the top, but we actually have a collar made spacer, so everything is nice and neat. So you do need a little bit of spacer up there and a little bit on the bottom. On the rear only, the fronts straight bolt up, no modifications whatsoever. But I'm trying to get work with Elka to change these thicknesses so that way we don't need to have these spacers. You could just basically bolt this up and kind of, you know, squish it in there, but we like everything to be nice and neat and perfect, and added clearance in here, so that way we got plenty of room, plenty of room around here for all that travel, that yummy, delicious, juicy, rare prime rib travel on this bad boy. Yummy. So thank you all for watching. Like I said, I'll have another video following this up showing the suspension articulation and everything, just to really show it off. It is staggering, absolutely staggering. I do a lot of suspensions. We built this as basically, this is like a motocross shock that we're putting onto this thing, and it really changes the whole thing. So thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Give us a call with any questions.